What's good, fam? Welcome back to the channel. I'm TYT and you're on OMG, it's TYT. Man, I'm back with another video, guys. I don't know if I'm gonna label this digging in my collection or what, but man, I just been seeing a whole lot of interviews with my favorite rapper, or one of my favorite rappers, of course one of my top 5, Ghostface Killah. He has a new album coming out. It's Supreme Clientele 2. Okay, so I was like, man, then, you know, since we doing that, you know what I mean, why don't I talk about all the records that I have in my collection, or all the music that I have in my collection by Ghostface Killah? You know what I'm saying? And now I'm just kind of thinking like, man, you know, because I got my record set aside already. I was like, man, maybe I should grab the CDs too. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So just hold on 1 second. I'll be right back, and we're gonna get right into this. And we're just gonna dig into my collection, man. We're gonna start with Iron Man. You know, now in the interview, he said he felt that he was in the interviews that I watched like 3 of them, and he said he felt rushed. He only had like 2 months to do this, and it's still a classic album nonetheless. You know, I'm not gonna go over too many of the tracks on here, you know, like like it's just like this album, you know, like when you talk about Camay and Daytona 500 and songs like that, man, it just takes me back to college, man. Motherless Child, it just takes me back to college, you know. But classic album nonetheless, guys. You know, the artwork is just crazy. The artwork is crazy, man. But you know, you got the CD with it too, you know. But you know, it's just collector stuff, man. But so that's Iron Man. That was the first album that he had to come out, was Iron Man, you know. And for a long time, this was my favorite album by him. But you know, and I always remember myself saying that it's like one of my top albums. But the more that I listen to all of his other stuff, like, I mean, this one keeps going lower on the totem pole. And in the interviews, it kind of makes sense because, you know, he had different producers on his other projects, while being able to take his time to record those albums. So that's why they turn out so great, you know. Now, unfortunately, his second album I don't have on record, but Supreme Clientele. But you know, classic, like dope. Definitely better than Iron Man in my opinion. But you know, it's just like I just said, you know, you could just tell that he was able to take his time on this and put out the material that he really wanted to put out, Supreme Clientele. And you know, however many years later, he's coming out with part 2 to this. So it's just it's crazy, guys. Like this album, you know, is Nutmeg on here? No, I think. But anyway, this whole album, yeah, Nutmeg, One, like it's just boom, 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 boom. And then in another interview I saw him, you know, it kind of went the way that he says that he likes to record his albums or make his albums, so where, you know, it starts off high energy and then, you know, towards, you know, part of it goes down, then it comes back up, goes down, and then high energy towards the end. And that's definitely this album, because I listened to basically all of them on my way to pick up my daughter the other day. So in preparation for this video. But man, Supreme Clientele, guys, one of my favorites. It's not my top album by him, but one of my favorites. Okay, now speaking on one of my favorite by him. Okay. We're just gonna get right into it, y'all. I'm trying to see all the ones that I have. Okay, on record. Another one I don't have on record, Big Doe Rehab. You know, now I'm the type of guy where I like the originals, guys. Like, I don't like to buy the the repressings and stuff like that. As nice as they may be, you know, it's just me. Like, I like the original version, you know. But I mean, the Big Doe Rehab, it's just song after song after. Like, I was just jamming out to this, you know. And I always thought that the Pretty Tony album was my favorite one, but it has to be Big Doe Rehab, man. It has to be. It has to be. Like, every song that came on, I'm like, that's my shit. But you know, like, they got the Barrel Brothers. That's, you know, song number 2. Well, basically, like, the first song, really. You know, the first song here is a skit, but man. Benny Siegel, like, use a fake it till you make it typing. I'm a straight up tape it typing. Man, like, I think every song on here I was singing word for word. So this has to be my favorite album by Ghostface, y'all. Big Doe Rehab. But since I brought it up, we got the Pretty Tony album, y'all. See, ain't it better that I put my CDs in it? Man, because, like, I got this one on record, guys. I have this one on record. What? You know, I'm not organized, you know. I'm a vlogger, man. Like, I like doing these sit-down videos, just... it's not my thing, man, but I keep trying them, so that's why I don't post that much. But Pretty Tony album, y'all, man. It still has to be one of my favorite albums by him, though, y'all. Like, you know, from the Biscuits, Beat the Clock, like, all these songs. But then, you know, I remember when I went to Chicago, I was talking to somebody and I was like, yeah, Ghostface is my favorite, you know. I was in a car, you know, hanging out with my boys, and I'm like, but man, like, my favorite song on this album has to be Metal Lungies. I love that song. You know, it's with the Locks, basically. Sheik Loose and Styles P. You know, but on this album, you know, Ghostface is really into his, like, soul music type stuff. You know, that's like one thing, you know, like when he back in like 2014, something like that, he was beefing with Action Bronson, and, you know, like, he went on the live, or he had a video that he had, and he was playing this little old school, like, Delphonics or something in the background while he was talking this stuff. And I was like, you know, while he was talking this stuff to Action Bronson, he was playing, you know, the old school, and I'm just like, that's my boy Ghost. You know, he loves them soul cuts, and so does Sheik Loose. So that's why they, you know, mesh so well. But I'll talk about them a little bit later, guys. But yeah, Pretty Tony album. And like I said, you know, like, he got songs like Tush with Missy Elliott, which wasn't one of my favorite songs on there. You know, even when it came out, when I first heard it, I was just like, what is this? But, you know, another one of my favorite songs on here, you know, is Be This Way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the truth. Took Him Back with Jackie O. Oh my gosh. Jackie O's verse on that song, man. She'll break up your weed and give you nasty throat. And then Run with Jada Kiss on there. So he actually got a song with all the Locks on this album. And then he ends it off with the song Love with Music Soul Child and K Fox. And that is like a climactic song, like, to end the video out. I mean, to end a album out. You know, so I mean, I really, really, really like this album. You know, repressing though, you know, I think I got it for a good deal or something. I think this is when I was a little bit, I mean, not so much, not so snobby when it comes to buying records, you know, because like, even though I like the record and stuff like that, you know, I'm not the first one to jump out the window and go and buy it, because I have lots of stuff, guys. So, you know, I mean, you can't have everything, you know, and, you know, when I'm gone, it's not going to really matter anyway. And I have a lot of this stuff on CD. So, and I know CD quality is not as good as the record quality in some cases, you know, but Pretty Tony. All right, and I did a video on this album, guys. Fish Scale. I did an album on this. I mean, I did a video on Fish Scale, you know, because that's when I picked this up. I was so charged and happy and excited, you know, because it's the original, OG status, clean, OG status. Wow. Y'all know how OG this is? I don't know if y'all can see that. I paid $40 for this. That's probably the most I spent on a record. I was just thinking about that. I was like, man, what's the most I ever spent on a record? You know, because I'm a cheapskate too, y'all. Like, I dig, you know, if you see most of my records, they're not, the sleeves and stuff aren't in the most perfect condition, or the jackets or the covers. But I don't care as long as they play, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you know, I'm not getting rid of too much of this stuff. So, like I said, when I'm gone, it's not gonna really matter anyway, you know. But I got that one, and then this, it's a advanced, radio advanced copy, Fish Scale, you know. But another classic album in my opinion. But then another one of my favorites, Bulletproof Wallets. Bulletproof Wallets, y'all. Man. Like this album right here is, yeah, this is the one with Maxine. Like, paint a straight picture, you know, like, you know, he's like the drug dealer, and, you know, and Maxine is a fiend, you know, and he goes to her house like, where my money at, or something like that, you know, and basically, you know, what end up happening is, you know, he goes into the room to get busy and stuff like that, and then they end up, the kid, like, they end up coming in the room and throwing hot grits on them and throwing them out the window. Crazy. But Maxine is still one of the coldest fiends, y'all. Bulletproof Wallet, man. Like, I love this album. The name itself is just so creative. Now, I don't know what I did with my case, but I got the CD, the original. You know, but man, I just get excited about stuff like this. Like I said, you know, I'm not the greatest sit down videoer, talker, or nothing like that. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to share my passion with you guys. You know what I mean? But then we have more fish. More fish. Man, I got to do something about my lighting, guys. Like the glare on these with this, with the cover on there, and it's still like a good, but more fish nonetheless. You know, in this album, you know, like on Big Doe Rehab, on Big Doe Rehab, Fish Scale and More Fish, you know, like you heard a lot of songs by the Theodore unit on here with Trice the God, Sean Wiggs, you know, which is one of his partners that he still rocks with to this day. Like, he's always with him, you know, Wiggs. But, you know, of course, we got the CD, More Fish. You know, that's him. And then, you know, you got the Theodore unit in the back, you know. But then he was talking about this album right here, y'all. It's basically a love album, y'all. It's basically a love album. Ghost Denny, Wizard of Poetry. He's in one of the interviews, he said that Def Jam dropped the ball on this one, and they definitely did. Like, this is not an album. He called it an album full of singles, but he had a few singles on here. You know, Stay a little longer, and then that what was it, Paragraphs of Love. I think that's what it's called, but you know, I think this is it. This has Estelle on there, like she's rapping at first. To pass you by, situation, and I got it's okay, it's alright. Yeah, so he's talking. He's trying to holler at her, but you know, she's pregnant. And she's married, you know. She's like, I'm married, you know, and I'm pregnant. And he's like, man, he's still, you know, spitting that game to her, you know. And you know, like when she introduced herself to him, you know, she did a little rap like, hey, you know, peace, I'm Gabby, you know. And then, you know, they're kind of like going back and forth, kind of, you know what I mean, like conversational, like, you know what I mean. And then at the end, you know, still being Estelle, she just sings. You know, her way out, you know what I'm saying, like to end the song, you know what I mean. It was just she killed it. I just say it like that, she killed it, you know. But that was like one of my favorites on there. And then Raheem Devon, he was on a few of these songs, but the one I like by him is Do Over. And then I didn't know that Not Your Average Girl, the first song on here, Sharifa sung that song. Now Sharifa was signed to Disturbing the Peace. I have a Sharifa album that I always come across, but of course I be knowing my stuff, man. I be knowing my stuff. But Sharifa, y'all, man, she sung the hell out of that song. It was worth me looking for this album because she sung the hell out of that song, y'all, and I liked it. You know what I mean? But I need to listen to this, y'all. I never listened to this album before, but y'all already know, man. Like when I was buying records heavy, you know, you could find albums in the dollar bins for 50 cents. Two for $150. This one needs to be down here with all these younger people. But anyway, back to Ghost though, y'all. So that's the Ghost Denny, Wizard of Poetry. Dope album, y'all. If y'all haven't heard that, man, y'all have to listen to this, especially if y'all, you know, into like love songs and stuff like that. But then like his last album, you know, like that's just like him, you know, not like him doing projects with a producer or like somebody like, hey, I got this concept for an album, just write you know, about this, you know, is but his last album that I could really think of that he put out where it was like just him and his Apollo Kids, guys. Apollo Kids. Now this is my shit too. I didn't listen to this though, but I know it got New Woo on here. But it's a lot of hits on here, y'all. It's a lot of great songs on here. So check it out, man. I'm just sharing my collection with y'all, my Ghostface Killah collection. My favorite rapper, one of my favorite rappers. I don't know why I keep saying my favorite, you know, because like you can have your favorite your favorite rapper, but it's so many like greats that it's hard to like say, you know what I mean? Like, but then, you know, he did projects like I was just talking about. So 12 Reasons to Die with Adrian Young. Adrian Young presents. And then I don't know which language this is. Let me know down in the comments. You know, I'm a collector, guys, when I see stuff, you know, but I think it's like French, maybe. That's what came to my mind was French. But but that's that album, y'all. Like, I haven't even listened to this. But same album nonetheless, y'all. But then we have part 2. I got the it was originally $25.99. I got it for like $15, so that's what's up. Got $10 off on that boy. But then we got 36 Seasons, guys. You know, I forget who he did this one with. Bad, Not Good, maybe, or something like that. But 36 Seasons nonetheless, y'all. I like this album. It's dope. You know, but it has a storyline to it, just like the 12 Reasons to Die. Like, that storyline is crazy. But I'm gonna get better, y'all. I'm gonna get better. You know what I'm saying? No, this is the one with the Bad, Not Good, I think. This is what's the guy's name? Guys, my eyes are horrible right now. But yeah, Bad, Not Good, Sour Soul. Sour Soul, guys. That's the name of this album. But I only have the CD, of course. And that's my collection, man. You know, my Ghostface Killah album. That's what I got in my collection, man. You know, huge fan of the guy, you know. But I'm not done, man. Now, Ghostface and Sheek Louch, man, they have such chemistry on the record, man. They had to go ahead and they had to you know they had to collab, man, on the whole album. You know, it's basically a Lox and Wu-Tang album. So Wu Block, D Block, Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? So, and the reason why I wanted to talk about Wu Block is because this came out like in 2012, yeah, 2012. And 2014, they were supposed to come out with a Wu Block 2. Never happened. So, man, if y'all know what happened with the Wu Block 2, man, can y'all let me know down in the comments, man? Because, like, that was highly anticipated by me, man. I love this album. And I love it so much that I have to put it in a CD player after I'm done, because I can't even remember the album. I know it's dope though. But I could see the man. All right. There's one part on the album, y'all. Ghostface is at home, sick. I think he had like the flu or something like that. And Sheek Louch is waiting for him at the airport. So he called him. He like, "Hey, Ghost, where you at, man? I'm at the airport." He's like, "I ain't gonna make it, man." You know, he's like, "Man, come on." And then, you know, like, Sheek Louch was just like clowning him. He's like, "Hey, man, don't wear those." I forget what he said, but it was funny as shit. But it's like 12 tracks on here. And I mean, they're all bangers, you know what I mean? But Wu Block, guys. So, man, I hope y'all enjoyed me digging in my collection, going through my Wu-Tang. I ain't going through my Ghostface Killah collection, man. You know, one of my favorite rappers. But just like, share, comment, subscribe, man. Let's get a little conversation going in the comments about this guy, you know. But sometime this week, Supreme Clientele 2 is supposed to drop, so can't wait for that to drop. But as I'm just the type of guy that when albums would drop back in the day, like, I used to go to the record store the night before, like at midnight, and buy them. They used to do stuff like that, and you know, or I would buy it as soon as the day that they came out. Now, when records come out, like, especially like highly anticipated albums and stuff like that, it probably takes me a while to actually check it out, just because everybody's talking about it, and I'm not the guy that follows the hype. You know what I mean? And when I hear projects, albums, I like to get my own opinion about it and not just go with what everybody else likes, if you get what I mean. You know, like, I've heard a few songs off of that Clips album, but I haven't checked it out yet because I keep hearing it on Sirius XM. It's like, so I just want to be able to, when I go and check something out, just like on my own energy and stuff like that, you know. But thanks for checking me out, y'all. Catch y'all on the next one.